All right, guys, we're gonna get started now. We were trying to go live on YouTube, but unfortunately we couldn't get it going, which is fine. But we're just gonna get into it now. We got a few people on the stage, so how we're gonna do the session is I'm gonna bring some people on. You're gonna be able to ask questions directly to me. Whatever you guys want to ask, I'm here to answer. Obviously, a ton of stuff's been going on over the last couple of weeks, so everyone wants to get some updates, on the company, on the industry, on the payouts, right, on everything that's going on. So we're gonna kick it off. We're gonna bring on Nico. It looks like you're on here as well. I'm gonna go ahead and unmute you, and feel free to come on the mic.
Okay, good. So thank you, Angelo.
Hey.
Hope you're good. So soon Miami. So I just want to explain for everyone. I will, before the question, I will explain my honest vision and experience about funded trader, because I'm funded trader with TFT, and I make around 1,100 payout on till the prop firm and other funded traders. And I want to give you my honest vision, because a lot of people actually, like I said, I'm not working for TFT or something like that. I give you my honest vision, like customers like you and I. A lot of people actually, I jump on very lot of prop firm, and actually, the funded traders is for me one of the prop firm going on the top one, honestly, because I know the CEO, and for me, it's when you know the CEO and when you meet the CEO in real life, you know what is going on, and you meet the team and you know what's going on, and you know who is behind. So for me, it's very important. Like, for example, over prop firm, you don't know about the CEO, you don't know what's going on. And I know a lot of people complain about payout, everything. So for me, I'm under the same situation like you. And the question I want to ask to Angelo is about what you think about deal payout, if the deal coming back. And I know a lot of people, for me, like me, about why his account get blocked and get banned. So what actually the issue you can, the solution you want to make for TFT on the future, for the next month, and for a payout process will be more smooth and more fast.
Yeah, so just to make sure I understand the question. So you're asking if deal potentially will come back in the future, for not only
Correct. What do you think about the coming back for deal? Because and about the payout process with Wise, because a lot of people, for example, about get blocked by Wise, because Wise ask so many questions, so many documents, and can block your account. And I know some people have the same issue. So what actually, the first question, do you think deal coming back? Second things, what is your probably a wire transfer, international transfer, Revolut for Europe people, for example, for myself? And crypto, do you have limit crypto, or you want to put higher the crypto process and more faster? Yeah, this is my question. I think this is the question of a lot of people ask, and this is, I think,
Yeah, so from my perspective, deal as of now, obviously is not being utilized by a lot of prop firms. They're under a lot of pressure due to the MFF situation. They've sent out obviously a ton of money for MFF, so it seems like they're under some heat at the moment. They have told us that in a few months they're going to revisit the arrangement, with some of the firms, and have us move forward and try to do some due diligence and whatnot to get back. But obviously that's a few months away. So in the meantime, what are we going to do basically to circumvent Deal, who was a great partner, obviously made everyone's lives much easier utilizing Deal. And the main reason that it really was a lot easier for the prop firms is because you could do in Deal two things. One of them, they had an API, so they were allowing us to directly integrate our technology with their platform. So when payouts actually came through, there was a technical flow that was executed that would create your deal contracts, that would execute your payouts being sent out. So everything was really seamless and really automated. And at the size that we're at, sending out hundreds of payouts per day, obviously that going down is something that's a huge disruptor for the business, as we all may know. So do I think Deal is going to be coming back? I don't know. I'm really assuming that they're not going to be. I do think that we have a great contact in them. We talk directly with the CEO of the company. So is there a chance? Yes, but we're planning as if they're not going to be. So that being said, moving forward, obviously with Wise, we had originally used Wise maybe a year ago, like before we started using Deal. So we wanted to just transition back to them and try to make it as seamless as possible. Wise did come out, as I wrote in the announcements, this new feature where you can do batch payments. Now
Correct.
that feature is very similar to Deal, where you can upload kind of what's called batches of payments together, and it's in a CSV, and then you can send them out, and it just makes it way easier throughout the day. You could process payouts one or twice throughout the day and just get all of them out for the day. So we had to move forward. We're doing the batch payments with Wise. As you know, a lot of people were, as they were trying to set up their accounts, were
Yep.
getting denied due to their country not being eligible, getting denied due to various KYC reasons, not being able to verify themselves, whatever. So as we're sending out these batch payments, about 30% of them are just getting rejected, meaning that like 30% of the traders that are supposed to get paid, in one batch in one day are not getting paid. Every day we're sending out, again, hundreds of payments. So that could be anywhere from 30 to 60 people a day not being able to receive the payment through Wise, which obviously is a huge deal. And that's why you're seeing through the chats and everyone saying, "Oh, I didn't get my payout with TFT," because they're amongst these people that aren't getting verified with Wise. So in terms of what we're trying to do to circumvent this, there's a different way to send payouts via Wise. It's a bit more manual, takes a little bit longer to actually do. But doing it this way actually verifies that the user has an account that has been approved on Wise before we actually send the payment. So this way we're not getting in this situation where people are trying to set up their accounts, their payments are getting canceled, and we're waiting for refunds. We're trying to process it. Do you want to just lower something? Yeah. Like they're getting refunded, whatever. So we're starting this week. We're starting to process all payouts via that method, so that we ensure that people actually receive it, that they're not getting, denied their payouts via Wise, whatever. Now, for the alternatives, obviously, right now in our FAQ, it's stated that people who are eligible for Wise and countries eligible for Wise have to take payouts through Wise. This week, we're going to move to open it up so everyone can request payouts via crypto. We're working to make an official announcement about that. So we do have a limit right now on crypto as well, the 10K limit. We're moving to get that resolved as well. The main issue is just moving the money into crypto, right? We have to be able to obviously move enough money into crypto so we can actually pay these people out. And there's been some limits placed on us to be able to deposit with the crypto provider that we work with, because again, we're moving a lot of money on a daily basis. So we're not interested in doing the bank transfers just because we're sending money to so many countries throughout the world, and a lot of these bank wires get flagged for fraud. Like, we're not sending 10 payouts a day or 20 payouts a day. We're sending hundreds of wires, potentially per day. So that's putting our bank account at risk, and ultimately that's not a risk that we're willing to take, where we're going to be putting obviously our bank account at risk. So we're looking at potentially opening some alternative bank accounts specifically just for the payouts as well. But obviously, that's something that's going to require a little bit more time. So we're doing everything we can to open up the crypto this week so everyone can just freely withdraw through that. And, hopefully that should help alleviate some of the issues, along with obviously just the Wise payments going out correctly.
Okay, good. Perfect. That's good.
Any
I have
other questions?
last question,
Yep.
because a lot of people ask too, because we speak about the regulation, about US regulation and everything. Every people speak and probably don't know about that. How you want to move to another country, like for example Emirates, UEA, like for example Dubai or Abu Dhabi, to plan TFT? This is one of the idea you want to do, because I see the question for that.
Yeah. So in regards to moving the operations of the company, it's not something we'd like to do. Obviously we have some good relationships when it comes to banking, when it comes to processing, within the US. So in order to migrate our operations, it would be quite challenging. I mean, also we have a lot of employees, so
Yeah.
migrating all of that as well. But that being said, if there is, for example, in UAE, if there's some regulation that has been formed around prop trading, and there's some clarity in regards to how these types of businesses can operate, that's something that's extremely interesting. I think that's something that's coming through more recently. So we're definitely exploring all potential avenues for moving the US business, the funded trader, somewhere else, and Dubai and UAE is definitely one of the things that we're looking into. But we want to do our due diligence, really understand what it means to move there. There's tax implications when it comes to moving the business as well. There's legal entity structure and setup. There's the lawyers that we're working with potentially will change. We'll need attorneys out there. So there's just some moving parts with it, but I am prioritizing that as a project to look into it and at least get more information to see if that's somewhere that we want to go. I mean, obviously, I live in the U.S. And if we were able to work with regulators within the U.S. and stay within the U.S., I'd love to continue to do business here because I think that overall it's a great place to be. But if it's not going to be a friendly place for us to do business, then obviously we have to explore all our alternatives.
Right. Okay, that's good. Thank you, Angelo.
Yeah, no worries, Nico. And I know you sent me some messages. I gotta get back to you.
Yeah, sure. No worries. You take your time. You are busy with 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 a lot of things, so no worries. No worries. But I'm good, guys. Like I said, just want to last word. Like I said, guys, I'm customers like you and I, and don't stress about the payouts and everything. For me, it's better to get paid like never get paid. But I know some people get mad, and some people, and I know this is the situation. We want to work for people, and we want to like a job. You want to get paid at the time. But I think for me, 100%, this is just an issue, but I think will be very nice. So thank you so much and I will sell all the question for other people like want to speak.
Yeah, appreciate you hopping on, Nico. Appreciate
Yeah.
answering or asking the questions, and we could definitely move on. So enjoy the rest of your day. We're gonna go with Meg. We're gonna bring you on next. So feel free to unmute yourself and come on. And then if you're not there, we also have CZ Key. So if you want to come on, feel free to come on as well. Nothing to add. Okay.
Hi, Angelo. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Good. Shout out from Malaysia. And can you hear me, right?
Yeah.
I got a few questions, Angelo. So if you don't mind, the first question would be, what is your first thought that come in your mind? Sorry. Okay. So what is the first thought that come in your mind when you see the MFF news pop up during that time?
Yeah, it's a good question. Obviously, at first, when I saw the website go down, I knew that it was like kind of deep inside of me. I knew that it was a big issue, because this wasn't something that was obviously planned to be happening. They've been announcing that they have a lot of cool things coming and all this stuff. So I knew that it had to be something kind of different. To the extent of the situation, I didn't realize that it would be all these allegations, all these things. But once more information started to become available, obviously as somebody who owns a company that's growing, that's in the space, that's in the industry, that they're in, right away I'm gonna start to think about all the things that we're doing, with our business. Think about how we've been operating, think about the community that we've been building, because we want to obviously ensure that we've been doing things the right way, that we've been operating in a way that isn't in line with what they're doing. So at first, when I saw the news, just interested, wanted to read more, wanted to get as much information as possible. I didn't want to make any hasty decisions in regards to banning countries and this and that. I wanted to really just sit back and understand what was actually going on, so we can make the best decisions for the community. And that's why it's taken a little while for us to put out statements and me to come on here and to speak with everybody, because we just wanted to make sure that we had all the information available to us and that we're making the best decisions that we possibly can. But if I could describe it in one word, definitely shocked would be the word.
I see. So do you have getting any keep in touch with others community in prop firm, like their staff?
Say it again.
Sorry, do you have keep in touch with any others prop firm community, like their management team, that you're sharing the experience that you are running the TFT?
Personally, no. I'm not like, if you're asking if I'm intimately speaking with maybe other prop firm owners about the situation at depth, no. I'm not like in some sort of coalition with other prop firm owners. And I think at the end of the day, we have a great team, running TFT, myself, my partner Carlos, some of our other team members. We have a great team internally, and we're all collecting information, all talking with each other, obviously planning and trying to execute on some key projects that we have. So we're really handling it more internally than going to maybe other prop firm owners and seeing what they're doing and seeing how they're handling it. I think every prop firm or every company is set up maybe a little bit differently. So it's kind of tough to seek advice from somebody else who might have a completely different legal structure or different jurisdiction that they're operating in, so on, and so on. So I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah.
Yeah, thanks. And then the question number 3 is, do you actually in your backend system that you are following the profitable trader? You using the company fund to follow, or you just use the sign up money to rolling in the company?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it's one that everyone wants to know the answers to. In regards to the funded trader, I think what people need to understand, and I've been saying this on interviews and podcasts, is the funded trader as a company is a U.S. entity. In regards to us trading securities, in regards to us accepting investor funds, any of that, right? We're not regulated by FINRA. We're not regulated by the CFTC. The funded trader itself does no trading. That's why there's simulated trading now on the website. We're saying simulated virtual. We're trying to be very clear about this. The evaluation entity, the funded trader itself, does no trading. Now, what does that mean, right? So you're to answer your question, what that means is if you sign up for a challenge with the funded trader, you're going to get a demo account, phase 1, phase 2, even the funded account. They're going to be demo accounts. On the phase 2 and the funded accounts, you're going to get what's called simulated live conditions. That means that the quotes that are actually coming through to those accounts in particular are in line with a liquidity provider. So those trades that you're executing are hypothetically getting executed by a liquidity provider. So you're experiencing what's called market depth with the order book, some execution delays, all that different things. Now, what you might be asking are then what happens, right? So the company is in an agreement, and your trader agreements state this as well, is in an agreement with a proprietary trading firm. Our proprietary trading firm is located within the Cayman Islands. It's called ARC Holdings. And ARC Holdings is allowed to utilize and leverage all the data that's being compiled by the funded traders. So ARC Holdings can actually develops trading strategies that can be utilized with the trading data, mainly focusing on the funded accounts, as you guys all know. And ARC Holdings is the one, in terms of liability, responsible for paying all of the traders out. Now, in regards to the operations and the trading activity that is actually going on within ARC Holdings, the reality is ARC Holdings can be trading tons of volume. It could be trading a little volume. It could be I could be personally depositing into ARC Holdings, obviously myself, but it's important to delineate the difference between ARC Holdings and the funded trader. The funded trader itself does no trading. The funded trader itself doesn't accept any investor money. The funded trader is not a broker by any means, right? So in regards to, a lot of people want to know, do we A book, do we B book? And I've said this on a lot of podcasts in the past, is it's not a matter of A booking and B booking. And this is something we've learned over time. It's really a matter of looking at collecting the data set as a whole. It's extremely important. The data is not just demos, it's on this simulated conditions. and then leveraging and utilizing that data to develop trading strategies within the separate entity that's in Cayman Islands. Now, why is the company in the Cayman Islands? In regards to regulation around there, in regards to being a proprietary trading firm in the Cayman Islands, we're operating within the regulation that exists within that country, which is why we've chosen to set up the entity there. But it's important, again, to just understand there is a separation, there is a clear distinction between what the funded trader is and what ARC Holdings is. The funded trader, again, just a company that's offering challenges, simulated trading challenges. It's not itself a proprietary trading firm. It's simply an evaluation entity that's utilized to collect data. But then the ARC Holdings company is the proprietary trading firm. And our goal has always been to scale up, these trading strategies within the proprietary trading firm in the Cayman Islands. And it's definitely not an easy task by any means, but it is a gold mine, and it's something that we're making a lot of progress with, and that we are extremely focused on. So hope that answers your question, but feel free to expand on it if you want.
Okay, Angelo, with that being said, how do you actually manage the risk behind? Do you have actually reserves a pool fund to getting ready to pay out for the trader out there? And how much would, if let's say you are reserving the fund, how much will it be, the fund size that backing up this company?
Yeah, so just so I understand you correctly, in terms of managing the risk, you're basically asking how do we make sure that we can afford that we pay people out?
Yep, correct.
Yeah. So in regards to setting up the business, and I've mentioned this in a podcast before, in regards to setting up the business from the beginning, right? We've had many ideas when it comes to how to back traders per se, right? How to put our money or how to trade within the proprietary trading firm. And at day one, it was just, oh, we're gonna do this, do the challenge. There's gonna be X amount that pass, there's going to be X amount that fail. We're going to look at the people that pass. We're going to continue to utilize some very basic kind of metrics, payout, amount of payouts, maybe the amount of, not to get too in detail, but maybe we're looking at the amount of volume that they're using on a daily basis. Maybe we're looking at the amount of trades they're taking on a daily basis. Maybe we're looking at a certain threshold of drawdown that they reach or a certain amount of profit that they reach. So we could be looking at many different things. And we're like, all right, we'll just start to copy their trades, right? We'll start to copy this person when they hit a certain metric. We started to realize that over time, doing things discretionary was just not efficient. It was just not possible. At the size that we're at, that's obviously not at all like a reality to be able to do that. So we've moved towards doing things in a more automated way. So in regards to handling the data, we're taking a more statistical based approach and evaluating all the data generally to put together the trading strategies that we are working on. And then in regards to copying the trades over, we're leveraging tools that we're building to be able to automate moving people, to be actually be able to copy. In regards to managing the risk from the beginning, the business model in terms of like how many people are going to pass, how many people are going to fail, the challenge itself is evaluating the results of the traders at the end of the day. And I've said this from the beginning that trading is extremely difficult. If you set up the challenge certain way, obviously a certain amount of people are going to pass, a certain amount of people are going to fail. And I think where you see these companies that do these crazy challenges where they make them too easy or the payouts are too quick or whatever, they could have issues with liquidity. And then that's where they're maybe doing things in the back end to potentially be denying payouts or be messing with the conditions so that essentially less people are passing and making it to the funded account. So we've always been trying to operate in a way where we're, obviously being ethical and we're not doing things that are nefarious and, making it more difficult per se for traders without them, actually knowing. Like everyone knows when they sign up for the challenge what it is, what the targets are. In regards to the conditions, we've tried our best to be extremely transparent whenever we're making changes to the conditions, especially with ACAP, because everyone obviously has mentioned things about ACAP in the past, and we've tried to be as transparent as possible with what we're offering to traders, because that's ultimately what's most important. But yeah, we've never tried to do things that were per se nefarious. We've just tried to essentially manage risk either through trading or through the actual challenge that we offer you guys, to start.
Cool. Okay. So actually, do you currently have the fund size that reserve to pay out?
Right now,
Yep.
it's a good question, and I appreciate all your questions. Yes, I mean the answer currently is yes. I mean we've obviously always, from a standpoint of our finance department, we've always forecasted for having enough liquidity to pay traders out. It's obviously part of the business model is you guys are signing agreements for us to pay you for your data. It's actually called a remuneration if you refer to the trading agreement. So it's, in my opinion, it's one of the craziest things in the world, that people can get 80%, 90% of what they make. Obviously most people in here agree with that as well. So as a business, we're paying for this trading data, and it's important that, to your point, we're always forecasting from a liquidity perspective to being able to pay everybody out. And at the end of the day, I'm very vocal online. I'm very transparent.
Mhm.
I'm here. I'm answering questions. Everyone knows who I am. My reputation is on the line, as it's always been. With the company. So it's extremely important that at the end of the day, we're making the decisions that put our business and the community in a position where they can continue to win. And forecasting liquidity is obviously a big part of that.
Understand. So currently we are seeing that the prop firm is raising right now in the market. Do you think that the prop firm will be take over the market cap in the retail broker?
I mean, I don't think it'll per se take over the market cap of the retail broker, just because of how established that industry is and how many retail brokers there really are. And at the end of the day, you can deposit a huge amount into a retail broker to trade with. So it's a little bit different than the proprietary trading firms, right? You're paying, anywhere from $100 to $2,000 to take on this challenge. And yeah, I just think they're really just two different things. They're two totally different opportunities. If anything, though, the industries will grow simultaneously together, right? I don't think one will kind of remove another. I think people will leverage prop firms to deposit into brokerages and continue to trade their funds. I mean, at the end of the day, they're both a form of trading, and they're both a form of opportunity for people to make money.
Got it. I appreciate your answer, Angelo, and that's all for my question. Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate you hopping on. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. All right, we're gonna go next person. We got a bunch of people in the waiting room. I'm gonna bring on a few more people, and then anybody that's already on the stage, if you want to speak, feel free to go ahead and we can get in your questions.
Hello, Angelo. Do you hear me?
Hey, what's going on?
Hello. I have a couple of questions. First, what can you tell us about Deal? Why did they shut down? And in your opinion, do you think they will all come back anytime or no? That's the first question.
Yeah, so we actually did get into this a little bit earlier in the call, but I will answer it again. So with
Sorry.
Deal, no, it's no problem. So within the US, for those that aren't as aware, the media plays a large part in a lot of things that go on, and they play a large part in politics and business, and really everything, right? So in terms of Deal, not only being under pressure probably legally due to the MFF situation, they're probably being inquired about more information, so on and so on. With the media also, putting them in the spotlight a little bit. They at the end of the day, they have investors that they have to make happy. They have their core business that they have to satisfy. They had mentioned publicly that prop trading or these funding companies have taken up about 1%, of their revenue. So it's not a significant part of their business. So if they're receiving, this publicity that's bad publicity from it, it's probably better for them just to cut it off than to deal with it. Obviously, it's unfortunate for us, but for them, it's probably the best decision to make at this in this current moment, at least in their eyes. Do I feel like Deal will be back? I think there's definitely the possibility that Deal is utilized in the future. We've been told that they want to revisit it in 2 months. In my mind, that means that we need to definitely look into alternatives and be planning as though they will not be available for us anymore. And there are alternatives to Deal. There's some other platforms. And there's companies that don't use Deal whatsoever. They use different systems in order to do the payout. So I think right now it's just a shock because everyone was so used to it. It was seamless, it was efficient, and it made a lot of sense to use. It was a great platform to leverage. But we just gotta look at our options and if we need to, just move into another direction.
Yeah, from what I can understand, they had bad publicity. The same thing can happen to Wise, no?
I agree. I honestly agree. I think that Wise right now is another company that definitely can be looking at evaluating their visibility and their partnerships within this industry. And that's something that I definitely want to get ahead of. I think the thing, or not I think, but the thing that can circumvent all of this is obviously leveraging crypto to the
Mhm.
to the fullest extent. With utilizing crypto, it's obviously a lot easier to be able to send out the funds and everything like that, and for people to receive them. And it doesn't matter what jurisdiction you're in. Now, getting those funds, into your local currencies, that's obviously a whole other story. But I
Yeah.
do think that crypto will obviously be available, will continue to be available for us to leverage, which is fantastic. But we definitely need to look into alternatives so we can, send people funds similar to how we were leveraging Deal.
Another prop firms are using Revolut. Why
Yeah, I've
don't you think about this?
seen
Or
Revolut.
have you already answered?
Yeah, we're right now prioritizing Skrill. So we've already gone through the due diligence process with them and tried to open accounts with them. We're waiting to hear back. But Revolut is definitely another option. There's a few other platforms as well. One of them is an early
Or
stage startup for that's
or
similar
PayPal?
to the Deal. So yeah, we're definitely looking into those alternatives.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. Well, that's all.
Yeah. Thanks for hopping on. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
We'll go next question.
I'll go ahead if
Looks like
no
we've
one
got
else is
Mac
there.
on here. I'm gonna unmute you. Here you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, not bad. So a few of my questions today are mainly about the anxieties that I'm having, with obviously the stuff that's gone down with my Forex funds, and I'm sure many other traders are also having similar problems. So obviously, following quite closely how CFTC went about finding evidence against my Forex funds, they dug quite deep into the history over the previous few years, and mainly a lot of the wording. Now, I've seen the funded trader have changed a lot of the stuff on the website. However, my only worry is how far they'll dig deep back into the history of the funded trader and how you used to word things.
Yeah, it's a great question. At the end of the day, you can't throw band-aids, on things, right? So
Yeah,
I think for us, we've been scoping out sort of these compliance procedures and frameworks and plans for the last several months, which obviously puts our minds at ease when it comes to a situation like MFF happening. The fact that we've been already planning from a compliance perspective how to navigate this situation, really is putting us ahead of the game. But a lot of these things, the reason that that's important that I mentioned that is because a lot of these verbiage changes that we were making to the website, certain disclaimers, so on, we're already documented. We're already supposed to be put into place over the next several months. Obviously, we went Armageddon, and just kind of changed everything in 3 days. But again, I don't think that changing everything on the website per se is like, from your perspective, like, oh, TFT is good now. They put simulated on everything and virtual, right? To your point, if a regulatory body is going to look into a business, they're going to look at the complete history, of the business. They're going to look into all things. And what's really apparent, and from my perspective, is just that they really came after this company because they've been communicating to consumers one thing and doing another. And it's one thing to be communicating, with an ice cream shop and saying one thing and doing another. But they're a large financial institution that's moving around a lot of money, that's servicing a lot of customers. And that's also obviously saying they're doing live trading and all of this and their legal structure. And it's within an industry that is regulated if they're trying to say that they're a broker and stuff. So from our end, we haven't per se been communicating, from, in our opinion, things too far off from what we're offering. We've always been as transparent, as honest as possible. But we're really just looking to look at, like, all of you guys, the stuff that's coming out with them, all the analysis, all the feedback, and we're evaluating that. We're having our attorneys evaluate that and helping us to continue to navigate this. I mean, what's really challenging is before this whole situation, there was very little regulatory guidance in terms of how to navigate, because this industry is extremely new, everywhere within the world, especially within the US. So with this now coming out, our attorneys actually have a lot more to evaluate. They have a lot more information in regards to how a governing body like the CFTC is actually, interpreting this business model and this company. And because of that, we're going to take all of that, and now we're going to continue to try to adjust and see how we can do things moving forward that'll be more in line with obviously the feedback that they've given. But to answer your question, like, yeah, they're going to obviously look at all the videos, all the content that we've had in the history of the company being there. But the most important thing is just the website, the website communicating the right things to consumers, not being misleading, not looking nefarious in any way. Because at the end of the day, if you're lying on the front facing website about what you're doing, or you're perpetuating that you're a financial institution or a broker, especially a broker, then that's really where the issue lies.
Okay, perfect. And just another one, I know it's going to be quite hard for you to answer. Do you believe that kind of the funded trader will be the next under the limelight after the whole MyForex funds has been tied up?
I mean, listen, as the obviously the owner of the company, I'm not going to sit here and say that things are like, we are 100% protected from everyone. I mean, this is like business. This is just the reality of life. Is there's ultimately risks that you're going to take, in business and in life. The funded trader is in the same industry as MFF. We're a very large entity. We're about to hit 100 million in payouts as well. And I think as I've been growing this company, it's always been in the back of my mind. It's always been acknowledged, and there's always been awareness around the fact that regulators are, at some point or another, they're going to want to ask questions. They're going to want to know what's going on. We're a company that's impacting a lot of people, that's really changing the world, and that's paying a lot of people out. And whether it's now or in 2 years, regulators are going to come. They're going to come knocking on every business that becomes a large entity in a new industry. And we've just always been navigating it with our attorney and really just preparing, because we'd love to be a part of the conversation, with regulators, to understand how this type of business can continue to exist in the industry. So do I assume that at some point, regulators will be asking us questions and will want to know? Yeah, but I think part of us trying to get ahead of it is, do we ourselves, try to speak with them and try to shape regulation around the industry? Or do we wait for them, obviously, to come to us as well?
Yeah.
I think that's the question that we need to ask ourselves. But it's apparent to me that in an industry, again, that's new that's growing, that's impacting a lot of consumers. At the end of the day, it's really just one of the challenges to this business. I mean, we're not going to get to paying out 500 million, without there being a lot of people, not only publicity wise, but regulatory wise, interested in what we're doing, right?
Yeah, no, 100% agree. Really appreciate that, Angelo. I'll let the next person go.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on, Mac. Hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Later.
Bye.
All right, we've had Joe on here for a little while. I'm going to unmute you, Joe. Feel free to go ahead. Looks like your audio might be out. Going once for you, Joe. Going twice.
Yes.
All right, we're going to go to the next person. We've got Blazed Bull. Feel free to hop on, ask a question. And then in the meantime, there's some more people that I need to let on. But anyone else that wants to come on, that wants to ask a question, just raise your hand, request to speak in the session. Also, you guys can post in the chat any questions that you have for the giveaway. I know we announced that we're going to give away some accounts. So in order to participate in the giveaway, just post in the chat one question that you have. I'll just go through and I'll answer them for you guys when we go ahead and finish the session. So again, post one question you guys have that you want me to answer in the chat to qualify for the giveaway. And let's go ahead, Blaze Bull, if you're on, feel free to ask your question.
Yeah, how are you, Angelo? Can you hear me?
It looks like you might be muted as well. What's going on, Q Hosting?
Hi, Angelo. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on?
Good in yourself, man.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Listen, first of all, thank you guys for an awesome platform and all the great work you guys are doing. I'm pretty sure we can all see that there's a lot of things going on. And like if you said earlier, once people start making money and they actually help people to profit, that's when you really get under the limelight. So thanks for doing your best to make sure this is legit. Just a quick question, and it's not by all means to say that you should do it. I'm just asking. I've seen that there are some platforms that allows traders to start trading immediately and not have challenges. Is that something that you guys have considered before?
Can you ask it again? You're asking about like an instant funding account?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, so one thing we were definitely considering doing this in the past, but given the recent situation, I think that was potentially part of the equation, because the whole instant funding thing really puts you in a position where you could be looked at as taking deposits, right? Because you're instantly giving people the access to trade those funds, and then you're basically putting restrictions almost on their deposits by putting drawdown limits and all of that. So long story short, we're not considering doing the instant funding. I think it puts any company too close to being a broker and without the licenses to be conducting your business in that way. I don't think it's a good or worthy pursuit. Now, that being said, if there are proprietary trading firms or funding companies that maybe are in a different jurisdiction that don't offer services to U.S. clients, or that just have all the regulations, they could obviously offer brokerage services and potentially a version of instant funding. But I think for the sake of the way we're being advised by our attorneys and whatnot, I don't think instant funding is a direction that we're going to be going in.
Okay, no, awesome. No, that makes sense. I was just wondering. Obviously, I don't know all those details, and you guys are obviously well adversed with that. So, but thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Any other questions you have?
No, I probably do have a lot, but I can't think of all of them now. But thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Appreciate you hopping on, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day.
Thanks, man. You too.
All right, we got Mualim. go. Feel free to unmute yourself if you want to come on and ask a question. And then again, anybody that either wants a question answered or wants to come on and speak, I'm gonna keep inviting people on, and then just post any questions that you guys in the that you guys have in the chat.
Angelo, I wanted to ask
All right, we got a few more people on. Anyone that wants to get into it, feel free to go ahead.
Mr. Angelo?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, this is Malim.
What's going on, Malim?
Yes, from Middle East, Saudi Arabia.
Welcome.
Really appreciate the business that you are doing and the transparency that you are giving, especially with this conference. I just have a few questions, two questions only. One, why we had selected WISE as an alternative of Deal, but in the same time, WISE is not supporting all countries, especially Middle East countries. And the second question, why the Royal Challenge or any other challenge that it needs 24 hours from phase 1 to phase 2, and from phase 2 to contract, and from contract to be active. Minimum we need 43 days. This is the fastest thing, plus the 3 days of payout. What I mean, in other prop firms, the time from phase 1 to phase 2, it's just a few hours, and the time from phase 2 to the funded account is a few hours. Why isn't it like that in the funded trader? Thank you.
Yeah, so to answer your first question about why we're transitioning to utilize WISE, I mean, first off, WISE is something that we have utilized in the past. So in terms of us being able to understand, their system, their service, their fees, it's something that we've already utilized. So it makes that transition a lot easier. In terms of access, since we already had an account approved with them, it was the easiest thing to pivot to. If we weren't to use WISE, we'd have to entirely just use crypto. If you're in an area that obviously receiving payouts through WISE is not available, and you also can't receive payouts through crypto, it's definitely challenging for you right now. This basically just means you can't get paid, which isn't really fair, right? So we need to definitely find alternatives. Always interested if you have suggestions as well. If you have any
Yeah, currently for Middle East, Pioneer is the best because you can issue a credit card from their website, from their application, and you can use the website directly without transferring the money to your bank account or to your any other software. So Pioneer is the best for Middle East.
What is it called? Payoneer?
Pioneer, yes.
Yeah,
Pioneer is the bank that's working with Amazon right now.
Yeah, I've heard it before. Definitely interested in finding out more information on Payoneer. I've heard mixed reviews from people on it. At the end of the day, as well, we need to operationally make sure that we're operating efficiently. And what that means is if we're paying out through Payoneer, Wise, Crypto, Revolut, Skrill, it creates complexities when it comes to managing our payouts. So we need to definitely handle that delicately because TFT is not a small company. If we were much smaller or just starting, it would be very easy to onboard, with these new firms and be paying out. If we're only paying out 10 payouts a day, 30 payouts a day, whatever. But we're sending hundreds of payouts per day. So it's really a delicate situation. So Wise was the best alternative in terms of scalability as of now. But to your point, we definitely need to find alternatives. And then we need to implement them in a way that things can be done in line with, the current payout times and all of that stuff. So that's my answer to the first question. Unless you want to follow up with that, we can move on to the next one.
Yeah, you can move on. Thank you.
So in regards to the delays between 1 and 2, obviously every firm does things differently. Every firm creates different rules around the challenges. We do understand that in the industry, it's becoming more of a standard from phase 1 to 2 for it to be a quicker process, for when you request a payout for you to be able to trade more quickly. So we are making some adjustments to that. So I think you had said that for the Royal, it's 24 hours right now, and it's also that way for the standard. For the Rapid, it's 12, and then the night, I believe it's 12, or it's one phase, so there is no for the night. So we're actually going to be adjusting the phase 1 to phase 2 for the Rapid and for the standard and the Royal Challenges. We're going to be cutting it in half to be more in line with the standard in the industry. I mean, at the end of the day, in terms of the timeline it takes for a customer, to go from trading the challenge to actually qualify for their payout, there's not only a difference in terms of the way that it shapes the data from making these types of adjustments, but also just from a liquidity perspective. Obviously, the more time it takes for a consumer to go ahead and get a payout in terms of forecasting liquidity, it obviously makes a difference. And I think that's what everyone understands. So it's important that I just acknowledge that.
Yeah, thank
So
you, Mr.
feel-
Angelo. This
Yeah,
will be
feel
all.
free to ask any other questions you have as well.
Thank you. That will be all.
Cool. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Thanks for hopping on.
Thank you.
All right, we've got a few more people on. I'm going to bring you on. Anybody else that's on the stage, feel free to come on and speak.
Hey, what's going on, Angelo?
Hey, what's up?
What's up, brother? So you were talking about Deal and like how Deal shut down and everything like that, and you wanted a different alternative. I don't know if you guys heard of Multiplier. It's called Use Multiplier. It's very similar to Deal. So if you want to look into that, that's that. Also, on the dashboard, if it would be possible, if we can get like a force reset button so we can update our stats. I don't know if that's possible at all, but I've been waiting for like 30 minutes now, and yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I think the dashboard is definitely something that needs improvement. With the amount of traders that are on the platform now, the scalability of it, in terms of the speed in which it updates and whatnot, definitely needs to be improved. On the back end, things are monitored very quickly. It's extremely efficient, but on the front end, to your point, there are times when you're looking at the dashboard and it's really just not updating, right? So that's something that definitely needs to be improved. And I appreciate you hopping on and just mentioning that. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely look into adding the refresh. I know that FTMO has that on their dashboard as well. So it seems like something that we should definitely do.
Yeah, just one more thing. So, I mean, I just joined in not too long ago. I don't know if you spoke about like regulations and stuff like that. I mean, we all know what happened with MFF. Anything on that?
Where are you located?
I'm in the United States.
Yeah, so obviously the whole situation with MFF has it's really just shined a huge light on the industry now, right? There's more people becoming aware as to what these companies are doing, and the regulators are becoming more aware as well. And right now in the U.S., in terms of running the funded trader, which doesn't do any trading, which offers demo accounts, which pays traders a remuneration for their data in partnership with the proprietary trading firm that's located in the Cayman Islands. We're not taking deposits. We're not trading securities, right? We're simply aggregating data. So how the CFTC interprets the funded trader, the entity itself, interprets our legal structure, interprets our agreements, obviously that's something that is going to need to be addressed. It's something that is going to need to be interpreted by them. The company itself is becoming massive, right? We're paying out tons of traders. We have tons of consumers. I think 30% of our consumers are within the US, right? So there's definitely a conversation to be had. All that we can do is look at the regulation that exists, which we have done. We have great attorneys, great regulatory counsel who've structured our entities in a way with how things have been defined up until this point, and with this new information made available about MFF, and their legal structure and their systems, and that's going to continue to be made available. It allows a company like us to look at that and to really learn as to how they're being interpreted in terms of how the regulatory bodies within the U.S. are, really thinking about this business model. And so I will say this: there's positives and negatives to everything. Obviously, a huge company industry getting shut down. It's a huge negative for a lot of people that were affected, and I say that lightly because there's people's money at stake. But it's also a huge positive because it gives the rest of us a chance to really try to look at and evaluate how things are being done, and how we can obviously move and make decisions in a way where we'll not only be able to survive, but really work with the regulators and be extremely successful.
Awesome. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, man. Any other questions from you?
No, I'm all good. Thank you.
All right, cool. Enjoy the rest of the day. All right, so we got a few other people on here. Anyone that wants to go, feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, Angelo.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, cool, brother. Please, I want to ask if you have any plans of reducing the 5K challenge price, the price of the first K challenge.
Yeah, the 5K challenges already are released. Not sure if you're referencing a certain challenge type for like the Royal or something, but yeah, the 5Ks are available. I believe for the standard and not the rapid at the moment, but I believe for the standard it is available. Let me actually see. Yeah, did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm talking about the prices.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm talking
All right,
about
so
the
we're gonna move
prices of
to
the challenges.
we're gonna move to anyone else that has a question. I'm gonna go ahead and
Hello, Mr. Angelo. Majid Ali is here from Pakistan. How are you?
I'm doing well. What's going on?
Yeah, it's very happy and my pleasure to speak with you. I just want to ask some question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no worries. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Angelo, you can see why this is not spotted in my country. You also listed on your website. But I see some of your online chat saying you can put withdraw if you have more than 10K on Wise, because they are saying our crypto provider not giving us opportunity to process more than 10K payout. So as you can see, and I also checked, there are many people on Discord who put negative reviews about TFT. But I have no issue at all, because I know Mr. Angelo, as you are as a CEO, you are a good person, and I know you will not do anything wrong with your traders. So, but in this situation, I want to ask if your crypto provider have issues to process, not process more than 10K payout. So your team is not processing payout in 2 transactions, because there is no issue, I think.
Yeah, thanks for the question. I think to alleviate some confusion around the 10K limit is really in terms of internal infrastructure and just being able to deposit enough funds into crypto. We've been limited in terms of how much we ourselves can deposit, and specifically through wire into our crypto provider's account. Obviously, if we just allow everyone to withdraw via crypto above 10K, that's going to create a situation in terms of liquidity where we're just going to have to be depositing a lot more money into the crypto account. So from a risk perspective, we've always tried to minimize our risk when it comes to holding crypto. When it comes to depositing into kind of third-party crypto providers, we'd much prefer holding our money in our bank account. Because the institution that we work with is a bit more reputable. And then making those wires kind of into Wise or at the time into Deal So it's definitely not a matter of just doing multiple 10K payouts. I think the support chat has been saying that there's just like this cap, whatever. It's more so just from a risk. It's more of a risk control type of thing where we're trying to limit our exposure to potentially our vendors and stuff like that. But that being said, we do have some updates coming. We do understand the need to expand and to be paying out potentially more through crypto. So we are developing some relationships where we can open it up and either just pay to more countries than the ones that currently are available, or raise the limit. But yeah, it does come down to, like I said, the standpoint of how much liquidity we want to keep, in certain accounts and in crypto in general.
Okay. As you are saying, by current situation, your crypto provider which are using, maybe it's Coinbase, Commerce, they are not allowing, and some risk issues. That's why you are not uh, processing more than 10K profits. But your website, live agent, also says if your country is not supported by Wise, we will process whole amount in crypto. Is it true?
So given the way that it's currently set up, to bluntly answer your question, one, it's not Coinbase Commerce that we're using for the crypto provider.
Okay.
It's a different
Okay.
crypto provider. Coinbase Commerce is used though to process some transactions through the website. So there is some crypto in
Yeah.
there obviously as well. But to answer your question, as it stands now, if you
Yeah.
can't get processed through Wise and
Yeah.
you have a payout over 10K, then you can't get it paid out through crypto because it's over 10K. You can only get paid out up to 10K. I think that's the answer you're looking for to your question.
Okay, okay, thank you. But I think TFT have no issues because there are some facilities. We can create LLC accounts from USA and UK. I mean, Wise is not operating. Before this, we are able to receive money through Wise. But maybe there are some limitations from Wise. But still, we can create account as a company account. So, is there any issue to give payout in Wise in my country?
I would say that if you have questions about Wise in terms of accepting payments, I would probably directly interface with Wise yourself.
Okay.
I do understand that you're looking into opportunities to create potentially companies in other countries so you can get a Wise account. But I think that one thing that we can do to potentially help you out is get more alternative payment options, and also look into raising the crypto limit because it sounds like you have a payout over 10K and you want to get paid through crypto, right?
Okay, okay. So you also mentioned last time you are adding 14 days option in Royal Challenge and first payout. So I hope it will be implemented in this week.
Yeah, we did get it delivered by the developer last week. So I am going to push the team this week to try to get that to go live. But yeah, the add-on for the 14-day first payout for Royal, definitely something that everyone wants, and we've been trying to get it out there. Just obviously trying to manage everything. But yeah, it should be out soon.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mr. Angelo, and everyone who are listening. I am fully with the sport of TFTs. Currently, I have also pending withdraw, but I hope and I believe in TFT company. They will grow again. It's all happened due to deal issues. So I good luck everyone, and I hope everyone will support TFT and Mr. Angelo.
Yeah, listen, I appreciate you hopping on and asking the important questions that all the people want to hear. So obviously, I hope the payout your situation gets resolved in regards to being able to withdraw more through crypto soon. But yeah, I really appreciate your support again.
I will. Thank you, Mr. Angelo.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank
All
you.
right, so
Have a
we've
nice
got
day.
more people trying to hop on. We also have a few new people that just joined. So whoever wants to go next, feel free to go ahead.
Hello.
How's it going?
Hello, you're right. So I've got a question regarding the company's long-term location strategy. So are you planning to continue operating in the USA, or have you got considerations about relocating to other countries with potentially more favorable regulatory conditions? Yeah, so I just want to understand how you're positioning yourself, or
Yeah, good question. So in terms of us trying to do anything in a state of panic or desperation, we're trying to
Yep.
just do our due diligence and try to understand kind of all the variables. So if we were to move the company to another jurisdiction, we'd have to understand from like a legal and accounting, a compliance perspective, a regulatory perspective, a tax perspective, right? Like what how things would change, with us moving the entire business. We definitely are exploring some alternatives, some options of where to go. But I think the part that everyone misses is that no matter what jurisdiction you're in, if the US becomes one of the jurisdictions that either forms regulation or wants to ban these types of businesses, if we're located in Dubai or India or wherever, right? It's not going to matter. You're just not going to be able to service the US clients. But that doesn't mean that being in potentially another country versus the US doesn't have its advantages, but it also does come with a lot of disadvantages as well. So we are looking at the alternatives. It is one of the priorities of myself, one of the projects that I'm going to work on. So we'll kind of see what happens and if it makes sense.
Okay, that was very informative. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Any other questions from your end?
Angela, I wanted to ask you
No,
from
that's
your
Cool.
perspective.
All right, we got a few more people on here. We got the architect. I don't think you've asked a question yet. Hillman and Adzez. So feel free, any of you guys, if you want to go.
Yes, hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hi, Angelo. How are you? Thanks for taking my call. This is Reps from New York City. I work in media, but I also trade to supplement my income. I do notice that you mentioned quite a few times that you plan on expanding your market outside of people who are familiar with the trading industry in order to gamify your business or bring it just to a general larger market. Do you plan on using people who work outside of the finance industry or Forex in particular in order to bring that in order to bring your business to a larger market?
I think generally our strategy is just to leverage storytelling. So as a company, we obviously are branded similar to a medieval kingdom. So we want to continue to leverage the hero's journey that potentially some of our analysts are on. Yeah, I think there's a lot of great stories within the community, and we want to stay focused on again building our community and building our traders and our analysts, and really putting them in a position to be successful. And I think through that, naturally, this will expand to a larger market.
Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate this forum here.
Yeah, no worries. Hope you enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you. You as well.
All right, who wants to come on next?
Hey, hello Angelo. How are you? It's Charles here.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm good, Angelo. I'm from Pakistan, and I want to ask something about the payout. Yeah, DO was a very good medium for getting a payout in Pakistan. So, and right now it's crypto, and we usually face some difficulties in withdrawing money from cryptos. So, I was asking about are you people thinking about adding Krill as an option for sending payouts?
Yeah, we're definitely thinking of adding again some alternatives. We did already answer this question though. So I will say that we're gonna probably move on. If you have any other questions, feel free to go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, yeah. After what happened with my forex fund, I used FTMO and my forex fund prior. Then I came to TFT. It is an amazing company with some amazing offers every month with some amazing discounts. So you used the word simulated profit after what happened with my forex fund. Can you please explain what does it mean by simulated profits and why you use the word simulated profits after the mishap of my forex fund?
Yeah, it's a great question. So appreciate you bringing it up. And I think the communication or the understanding that the traders need to make is that the funded trader itself, again, delivers demo accounts on phase 2 and on the funded accounts, as stated in the FAQ. We are simulating the conditions, which means that when you're executing the trades, it's very similar to as if you were executing with a liquidity provider, but it is a demo account and it is a simulated account. Um, so that means that there's no actual execution on live funds, in the background with those accounts. So it's important to delineate that the profits that are being generated, on these accounts, the naming convention is really simulated, because there's no actual trading going on in the funded trader itself. The remuneration that you guys are offered, based on the data that you accumulate, is kind of like this. If you have a funded account right now and you make $10,000, you've made $10,000 really on a demo account on simulated live conditions, and we're paying you for the data of you trading on those simulated live conditions. So we owe you whatever your trader agreement says, whatever the remuneration is, the 80%, 90%, whatever amount that is. And then the company, is leveraging that data, is like in your agreement it's stated, there's a tri-party agreement. The data is being shared to be utilized, by a proprietary trading firm who then can copy trade or can develop trading strategies to actually perform trading activities. But it's just important to delineate that the funded trader itself does not do any trading, does not offer live accounts, is not a broker, of any means, is not taking in investor funds, anything like that. So I think the gravitation towards putting simulated on everything is a bit of an overkill. But at the end of the day, it's to really reiterate these facts, that so people understand that you're trading a demo account, you're sharing your data, we're paying you a remuneration for that data. If that's something that you're not willing to participate in or don't think makes sense, that's obviously up to you guys, but you should be aware of what it is.
Oh yeah, thanks for clarifying that. Those all account you use are these are not actually really funded account. These are all are account in the virtual fund. So that's all. That is what I wanted to ask. And at last, I want to give a
Questions?
suggestion. I want to give a suggestion, please. I am from Pakistan, and we face a lot of difficulties withdrawing our profit from crypto. So I am requesting that please consider Skrill as an payout medium. Okay, that's my request for you.
Thank you for the request. We are looking into it. But yeah, appreciate you hopping on and asking your questions.
Thanks. Okay.
Enjoy the rest of the day. All right, we got a few more people on. I know you were saying that one guy was muted, but he wasn't muted from my end. I think he was just having I don't know, wasn't coming through. But anyone else that wants to come on, we got Q hosting. I know you haven't had a chance to talk yet. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead. And I'm also gonna bring a few more people on that are in the waiting room right now.
Yeah, Angelo, I
Okay.
muted Joe just to because his mic is picking up all the extra sound. So if he is able to speak without it, fuzzing up, then he can definitely ask his question. But yeah, I was muting him in the server, so just so you know.
Uh, Yeah, I tried to let him come on before, but he didn't say anything, so I think we're good. All right, we've got a bunch of people in the waiting room. I'm gonna bring a few guys on, and we've got a lot of questions in the chat. So we're gonna take a few more questions, maybe 2 or 3 from people that want to hop on the call, and then I'm gonna look in the chat and try to answer some questions in there. Again, if you guys have a question, you don't want to come on the chat, or don't want to come on the call, just go in the chat, post your question. That's how we're going to give away the accounts. So all you gotta do is post a question there. So we got Serve on here. Feel free to go ahead. Serve or
Hello?
Zickley. Either of you are good to ask a question.
Good day, Mr. Angelo. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, my question is very clear. Based on these difficulties in payout, in June competition, you give out a 625,000 account and you updated us that you will give us an update on the 1st of October. And the first person to remind you will get a 200K challenge account. But based on these difficulties in payout, will that update still going to come up? That is my question. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good question. So just to reiterate to everyone in terms of payouts, what's happening with payouts, right? What's going on right now? We've posted some updates about it. Just go ahead and click this person. And just go ahead and mute yourself if you can, Zicky, while we're going through this.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and mute yourself. I just have to kick you out. So in terms of payouts, what's going on with it at the moment? I'd post some announcements about it, but pretty much what happened was we transitioned to Wise for a few different reasons. The way we were sending the payouts through Wise to everybody, they started getting canceled. They started getting sent back. So Wise wasn't clearing essentially the payouts that were going out, mainly because the accounts that people had with Wise weren't verified. So the batch feature, if an account is not verified yet, will actually cancel and refund the payouts. We weren't aware of this, which is really our fault. At the end of the day, we should have tested this before going full steam ahead with it. And we're sending hundreds of payouts per day. We tried to with it, which is what's causing all the issues now. So the plan as of September 20th, we paused using that feature on Wise. We're transitioning to sending them out a different way within Wise, which ensures that they get delivered. So every payout after September, or including September 20th and after, will be getting sent that new way. The payouts sent between 9/11 and 9/22. So between September 11th and September 22nd, they were sent out via the batch feature. A lot of them are getting declined. We're reconciling it right now. We know a lot of the people that need to get paid by Thursday. We're going to go ahead and pay them out the new method. So right now we're waiting for all the funds to get refunded to our bank. I'm going to the bank today. I'm about to wire into the bank or into Wise, probably around 1.5 or $2 million. So all you guys are going to get paid out through Wise by Thursday. And then we're going to resume normal payout operations after that. So obviously with the question was around the competition and getting the stats. Since all the payouts are going to go out by Thursday, I will still post the stats from all those accounts that earned in those giveaways. So there's like 600 of them. So we'll see how many of those people actually got paid from getting that free giveaway account. Historically, it's been extremely low. The people that get giveaways normally punt the account. They don't trade the account in a way that's whatever, they just gamble it away. So yeah, I will post those stats and we'll see what happens. But appreciate you asking the question. I had to boot you off because of the mic. We'll move on. I see we have Mr. God of Forex on. Feel free to go ahead if you have a question. And we also have Emirate. Looks like you joined as well. Feel free to go ahead. And then I see Alexa Gutierrez in the chat. Reset all frozen accounts while we have to wait for payouts. So I think by that you mean like allow them to start trading again. Enable them. So that's one thing I'm going to be discussing today with the team, to be re-enabling all the accounts that are currently on hold that are waiting for their payout. So yeah, it's a good point. And you've been extremely active in the chat, so feel free to hop on if you want to ask a question on the voice, or feel free to keep putting it in the chat. Because we've got Umer CH. Feel free to ask a question if you want. And then this is the last call for the voice. I'm gonna invite a few more people on. All right. We've got One Good Trade, Master 22, and then Nikhil Sharma. If any of you have a question, feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Right. So I'm not asking you to describe or give a percentage, what have you, but it seems like if a company like Deal tries to distance themselves from, from a business sector, I'm just thinking genuinely about the long-term, the long-term trajectory, right, of everything. And I'm reliant on this business, and I want it to succeed. I love what you guys do. What I'm concerned about, is if the payments that go to funded traders. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We got some background noise from somebody else, so just mute yourself if you're not talking.
If the payments, no matter how it's done structurally, if the payments going to funded traders, if even a majority comes from the challenge fee, how do you think? I'm trying to think of like an appropriate way to ask this. How do you think that wouldn't be classified or characterized by either regulatory bodies or it's like pyramiding or anything related to like of terms? Make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, your Wi-Fi is going in and out, but I think I got the gist of it. You're basically asking, with Deal going down and not supporting the industry per se at the current moment, how could a company like ours, be our business model, be interpreted kind of moving forward, if a lot of the revenue is coming from the challenges, no matter where we're paying the traders out, whether it's structured with the tri-party agreement and the traders are technically being paid out through this separate entity or whatever, right? Like why are in my mind, right? Why is it that we feel confident in the legal structure, basically?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah,
It seems like to me, no matter how it's structured, the bottom line is like, well, it could be done a bunch of different ways, but if other people world in any industry that supports us, even just down to banking, just regular banking, no bank wants to be associated because of the risks with something that gets classified or characterized as Ponzi-ish, pyramid, whatever, any of those definitions. So what do you think in your discussions with, with lawyers or anything, like how what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, first I just want to say that I'm a young entrepreneur, young business owner. I'm someone who's definitely acquiring a lot of experience through managing and owning this company. But I'm by no means a veteran in the finance industry, and I want to preface this conversation or this response by saying that TFT has grown to be of a substantial size. We have to rely heavily on our counsel that we work with, and really just other business advisors on how to navigate. But at the end of the day, kind of like early stage Facebook, Microsoft, some early stage tech startups, there's no right or wrong way to do something new. Even if you got into like mutual funds or mortgage backed securities, other new financial products that had no regulation at the time. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do things in the sense of when there's no regulation that's written. We can only
that's under
make assumptions and try to operate as closely as we can. But there are some mechanisms that we've utilized based on our counsel to try not to categorize ourselves as a brokerage. I think it's extremely important that we reiterate and that we've operated from a standpoint of that we're not a broker, that we're not taking deposits. And one of the ways that, based on the way that the regulatory council already states things, that we've navigated that is by the remuneration we pay for the trades. I think that, not I think, but what I've been told is, say we were to pay out 1-to-1, right? You make 10,000, we pay you 10,000. There's certain things that have already been written around that in terms of the regulation where that could be considered like a swap or something else, and then we could be considered running more in line with a brokerage. So there are many little nuances that we've already tried our best to navigate, given what's been written. But at the end of the day, with any regulatory body, in any country, in a new industry, they are the decision makers. They are the ones that have the final say. And I will say, if or when we have the ability to work with them and speak with them, we would love to help lead the conversation on the business, the model, how to potentially regulate it, and be involved in that conversation. But I'm not going to stand here in any way and say that that's definitely going to happen. There's things that are in your control and obviously out of our control. The things that are in our control are, to your point, having redundancy in a lot of the functions of our business, including banking, processing, crypto processing, how we pay people out, the trading platforms we utilize, our technology. Having redundancy there, meaning that we have multiple options to use and leverage. But there's things that are out of our control as well, and we just have to do the best we can and operate in good faith, and just be prepared. And really, this is what we signed up for. We're in a new industry, a new idea, and we're trying to lead the way with it. So always going to be there's always going to be a fight at the end of the day. There's going to be a battle in the way TFT states it. We just got to be prepared and do the best that we can.
Yeah. Last quick question. And so because I'm a US resident, you probably could guess why it is that I just have this curiosity.
Yep.
In ARC Holdings, the Cayman Islands, is that a holdings company that you would have basically merged with, like, long story short, in setting up like a corporate structure?
So you did cut out. You said in ARC Holdings, is that a company
Yeah.
merge?
So for ARC Holdings, because I'm a U.S. resident, this is where my curiosity is. ARC Holdings a company? Was it an existing corporation of some type that you merged with for the benefit of just
Oh, I got you.
the corporate structure?
It's a great question, honestly. You got some good questions. But no, ARC Holdings, honestly don't know why. I think we called it Holdings only because we wanted to call it ARC, and then the Holdings was like it wasn't available just to call it ARC, so we had to add Holdings. I don't know, right? It's not actually a holding company per se. That's just like the naming convention of it.
Okay.
But no, ARC Holdings was created originally and for the sole purpose of TFT, and it was incorporated over a year ago. So it's not new.
Okay.
It wasn't merged. It's not like because of the MFF thing. It just happened, right? It's been.
Oh no. Yeah, I knew it wasn't. I knew it wasn't because the reason I was at like it was. There are in Cayman Islands where you can essentially merge with an existing, corporate entity that they just have several holding. They're a holdings company that has several business under them. Anyway, I won't spend any more people's times, but
We
my
do.
interest was
We do have. This is
because
like
I'm a
the
U.S.
question.
citizen.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. We do actually have a separate legal structure that we operate with some of our other businesses that's leveraging a portfolio company format in the Cayman Islands, which is more similar to I think what you're speaking of. But that is getting into some extreme detail. But yeah, the ARC Holdings wasn't merged or anything. It's just a standalone entity for proprietary trading within the Cayman Islands. Any other questions from your end? I think we lost them.
Hello, Angelo. Greeting from India.
Hey, what's going on?
My question is are you planning to introduce local payment partners to give more precise local payment options to traders in every Nike, major Nike?
Yeah, so we did actually already answer the question in terms of offering more options for payouts and whatnot. So I will say that we're gonna move to the next question. So feel free to
I'm
ask any.
asking about that by referring any popular community as a local payment partner to make payment withdrawals and purchases in a fast.
Yeah, due to anti-money laundering, we're not interested in doing any local payment partners or anything like that. Yeah, we prefer to stay away from that.
And my another question is, are you planning to introduce Android and iOS applications so that we can easily track our activity?
Say it again.
Yeah. Android and
How
iOS
quickly?
application. Sorry. Are you planning to introduce Android and iOS applications so that we can easily track our activities?
Yeah, it's a good question. We are working on a Android and iOS application, but it's something that is a project not as highly prioritized as some other ones. I do believe the target date of it is October 24th or October 2024. I'm sorry. So it's over pretty much a year from now or about a year from now. But yeah, so it's not something that's going to happen as quickly as per se maybe you would like. But yeah, it's definitely being worked on.
Thank you. You answered all the remaining questions.
Yeah, no worries. Any other questions you have?
Okay. I do
No.
have one question too.
Yeah, feel free to go ahead.
Relation or whatever. How quickly can it be solved? Because of this MFF and some other issues.
Hey, I
If
can't
the
hear you.
thing,
You could just speak a little louder.
I said this issue concerning regulation, the regulatory body.
Yeah, I can't
Can it be
hear.
solved? Like the issue concerning regulation over there. How quickly can it be solved?
I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect you, but I'll try to answer the question the best way I can. How quickly can it be solved? Again, very open-ended question, very open-ended situation. There's no issue when it comes to regulation in terms of TFT. So we're not trying to solve anything per se. We are watching and interested in how that will be unfolding, and definitely gonna look at all the information that becomes available to us. But we're per se not trying to solve anything right now. All right, so we've got a bunch of questions in the chat. Lost my connection, but thank you for taking the time. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for hopping on. You asked some pretty good questions. All right, so let's do this. We're gonna start giving away the 100K accounts to people in the chat. So let's do this person is the first winner. NMSOHSEN Nomison. You are a winner of an account. Let's see. And then let's have Dennis. You're on here too. Why don't you go ahead and pick 2 winners? Just find people that ask questions in the chat. We didn't get to all your questions in the chat. I do appreciate all of you guys hopping on. And then I do see God of Forex. I kicked you off. I do apologize for removing you from the voice. But I see you posted a question. We're gonna go ahead and give you an account as well. Your question is, hey, how can you ensure that TFT won't end up like MFF? I trust you, but a lot of people don't. How do I convince them and tell them that you are special and different? Secondly, please avoid unnecessary arguments with Noman Iqbal on Twitter. It doesn't look good for the prop firm. Thirdly, I need you to get your regulation certificates advertised on your platform and give us more assurance and trust. So let's answer number 1. How can you ensure TFT? So, from our perspective, we are looking at everything that we can in terms of how the regulators are pursuing our business, how our vendors are pursuing our business, how everyone interprets our business, right? We're doing everything we can to looking at things from all angles, to try to ensure that TFT has stability, that obviously is in a position to win, so everyone on the platform can continue to have this opportunity. Can we directly evade, again, the uncontrollables? It's out of our control. It's something that we don't have control over. If tomorrow the president of the United States comes after TFT, I mean, shit, we don't have control over that, right? So we're going to do everything we can to ensure that we have stability, longevity, all of that. But there are certain things that are out of our control, like any other business. There's risk when you get into starting a business, and especially a business at this size. And you have to do your best to navigate those risks. Second, please avoid any unnecessary arguments. So I definitely agree. But at the same time, when there's people that are slandering, or putting out misinformation, it's important to dispel the truth. It's important to sometimes tell your side of the story, or else everyone else will tell it for you. So if there are situations that need to be addressed, definitely always going to be here and always going to address them. And then third, I need you to get your regulation. So, there currently is no regulation in the US around this business. So, we're definitely looking into it and trying to understand which direction to go in when it comes to it. But I do think this is something that in the next 3 to 6 months, we'll get a lot more clarity as to what's going on here. So I picked 2 giveaway winners. Dennis, you can pick 2 more people.
I picked 1. I'll pick 1 more right now.
Yeah, pick 1 more. And then we're going to do...
Yeah, a few people asked a question about specifically bank wire transfers, ACH, Swift, whatever, all the different variations of that. Do you have anything about that?
Yeah, so we did answer it earlier in the session. We aren't interested at this current moment in doing direct ACH. The reason being is because we're doing so many transactions per day, and we would like payouts per day, and we'd prefer to set up a separate banking entity to handle those wires potentially, because if we're just starting to randomly wire hundreds of wires per day directly out of our bank account, our banker is going to just be like, what are you guys doing? You know, flagging all the payments and then putting our bank account at risk. And it's really just not a risk that we're willing to take at this current moment. Any other questions, Dennis, that you saw?
No, I mean, that's pretty much the one that I've just been looking for. Few people asked me specifically about that, but as far as anything else, I see trading view integration. I know that was a thing that, you know, maybe of the past now, but if you know if that's possible still or not.
Yeah, I think we're good. There's always been conversation around TradingView, whether we're going to leverage TradingView, whatnot. The reality is TradingView only works with certain partners, certain brokers. And the brokers that we work with, you know, unfortunately aren't giving us access to use TradingView. So we don't have any path to leverage TradingView at this current time. There's people that have said this and that TradingView will be available, but it's really something that's not a reality. I think C Trader is more of a reality right now, and MT4, MT5, than TradingView. So that's pretty much it. That's the final question we're gonna ask. I know there's a lot more questions that are in here, guys. We're gonna try to host this session bi-weekly, where I'm gonna come on. I'm gonna let you guys or come on and ask any questions that you have. Try to be as transparent as possible. Try to answer as many things as possible. This has been recorded. Will be posted on the YouTube shortly after this. So you guys will be able to go back and see all of the questions that were answered. So we'll be back again in 2 weeks. Some quick updates just to end it off. We are doing a community update. So we do one every month. We'll do that later this week, probably around Friday. We'll hop on and go through all the stats for the company, some product updates, updates on the team, stuff like that. So that'll be happening Friday. We've got the 2 promotions going on right now. So anyone that wants to leverage them, they end at the end of this month. And then other than that, the few things to look out for is purple trading, MT4, MT5, Royal Challenge 14-day add-on is coming. We're adjusting the upgrade delays for all the challenges to reduce them. And obviously this payout issue has to be resolved by Thursday. And that's what I'm going to work on as soon as I get off this call today. So appreciate you guys hopping on again for the session. I hope everybody has a great rest of your day. And I do really appreciate, obviously, as always, all your guys' support with TFTs. This has been first press conference in the books. And I'll talk to you guys later.